Good. Okay, so we're going to start. Hey guys, this is Luis Moreno here with 360 Insurance Group. And today we're going to talk about GTL's Hospital Indemnity Plan. And so I'll kind of tell you how I like using this thing, and then you'll get more of a feel for it. But I like using this for my Medicare. For all of my Medicare clients, especially the ones that I write an Advantage plan for, is what I utilize this hospital indemnity plan. And if you're wondering, well, how do I pair it up? How do I, offer this as a package for an Advantage plan? What I do is every Advantage plan out there is going to have copays and co-insurances for certain medical services. You're going to have a copay for the hospital. You're going to have a copay for the emergency room. You're going to have a copay for the ambulance. You're going to have some co-insurances or possibly copays for skilled nursing, for I'm trying to think here, the not out of network. I'm trying to think. I'm having a brain fart. The outpatient. God, I couldn't think of it. Outpatient procedures. You'll have some co-insurances probably for chemo, for therapeutic radiation. So GTL comes in here with their product, which they've now upgraded, or they came up with a new product, and it's going to allow us to help our seniors meet those costs. So with that, Zach from GTL, I'm going to let you take over and wow us with all this information on this new Advantage Plus Elite plan.
Great. Thank you so much, Luis. So thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join me today. Again, my name is Zach Parker. I am one of the sales managers here at GTL. Luis pretty much hit the nail on the head here. This is a product that you're going to want to market with every Medicare Advantage plan that you do sell or meet with a client about, because it was specifically designed to help all of your clients cover any out-of-pocket expenses that they're essentially on the hook for with their Medicare Advantage plan you sign them up for. And not only that, we kind of made it a little easier to write. This is another example of how we did tailor this for Medicare Advantage clients, is that we have a guarantee issue age range from 64 and a half up to age 68. Any client that falls within that age range, they don't even have to answer any health questions to qualify for this product. So again, that's just another reason of why you should be presenting this in every single Medicare Advantage sale that you go ahead and present. Now, today I'm going to be talking to you all about the benefits of Advantage Plus Elite. Obviously, I'll teach you a little bit more about how the processes with writing and submitting business work. I'll tell you a little bit about cross-selling, and I'll show you some cool marketing pieces that we have that can help you close potential deals with all of your clients. If at any time you do have a question of some sort, just feel free. You can type it in the Q&A section on your screen, and I can try to get to some of those at the end of the presentation. All right, but we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. First, I'm going to start off with a couple of notes about who GTL is as a company. So we're a very, very solid insurance carrier. We've been around now since 1936. So we've been in business for a very long time. We've located out in Glenview, Illinois. That's a suburb about 20 minutes northwest of Chicago. We are a mutual company, and we're licensed to do business in every single state, with the only exception being New York. Our AM Best rating is currently an A-, which is excellent by their standards. And we have $0 of debt on our balance sheets, which means we have plenty of money to pay out to our policyholders. All right. So GTL, our coverage has always been the best in class, mainly because we were actually the first carrier to launch a hospital indemnity plan into the marketplace. All right. We are constantly making improvements to it. Other companies try to mirror our benefits because, we are we're at the forefront of the industry with this product. So one of the best signs of flattery is imitation, and that's kind of what we found ourselves dealing with here. Right, we have plenty of great cross-selling tools that you can use to help market this product. I'll touch on those a little later. Our e-app platforms make it very simple to write, submit, quote business on the fly, and we have we're great innovators here. So if you ever do have feedback, once you do get up to speed with this product, If you think something can be enhanced in some sort of way, please feel free to let us know, because part of what makes us so successful as a company is that we actively use the feedback that we get from the agents who are actually out in the field selling this plan, because you guys know better than anyone else where improvements can be made. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump straight into it. First, I want to touch about why we want to cross-sell hospital indemnity plans. The first reason you want to improve, you're trying to take care of your client first and foremost, right? This is going to make a very meaningful improvement to your client's financials by protecting them from the copays that they are on the hook for if they ever are confined to a hospital. And not only that, you're going to be creating a long-term client, because this plan guaranteed renewable for life, and it only takes one incident to truly understand the value of this plan. And then lastly, you're going to generate many referrals. After your first client realizes what a good job you did in writing them this plan, they actually get to use it. All right, we build our plans to be used. So once they're taken care of so well by us, they're paid out their benefit amounts, no speed bumps attached. They'll go ahead, they'll tell their friends, right? The best form of marketing is word of mouth. Everyone has friends, people have family members, they talk about it, and in turn, you'll see more leads as the agent. All right, so this is the situation that we're going to be dealing with here. The client's financial situation and your relationship with them is going to be different once they get hospitalized. So I'm going to bring up an example here. I'm going to present to you two situations here, and we're going to go over which one would we prefer. It's going to be obvious. It's a bit of a rhetoric, but still, this will really show you the use of it. First, we're going to be looking at a typical Medicare Advantage sale, a no-cost plan to be specific, and that $0 premium is going to sound amazing to your insured. However, there are going to be copays on a singular use basis, which might be manageable. However, after a hospitalization, your client now realizes they have inpatient hospital and they use the ambulance, so they have another copay for that due. So they're left wondering if there's a better way. All right, that's scenario number one. Scenario number two, you added a hospital indemnity plan when you presented presented them their Medicare Advantage plan. With their hospital indemnity plan, they'll see an affordable premium, but most importantly, after their hospitalization, their net out-of-pocket costs are going to be zero. So this is where the rhetoric comes in. Are you going to prefer your client on the left or prefer how she's looking on the right? Obviously, you want your client not having to worry about any bills, so you're going to want to add a hospital indemnity plan. Okay, I mentioned this already, but GTL, we're the market leaders in hospital indemnity insurance, and it's been 17 years and counting that we've been doing so. Part of what makes us so successful is that we've had 0 rate increases for our policyholders as long as we've had this plan, and we've never reduced any policyholder benefits. Not only that, we built this plan to be used, okay? We want our clients to take advantage of it when necessary. And we have plenty of years of claim processing expertise. We do get to brag about having the most years of hospital indemnity claim processing experience because, we were the first ones to introduce this product. Again, we have great cross-selling tools that I'll teach you in a little bit about. And our e-app platforms have straight-through processing. So when you do submit an application, that app will be issued in seconds with policy documents emailed to both you, the agent, and your client. All right, and to give you some examples of our plan actually being built to be used and how well, or how much care we take care of our clients, is I want you to take a look at the chart on the right-hand side of your screen. All right, these are actual policyholders' benefits that we have paid out to them. Okay, for example, we're going to look at the third one from the top. That's a policy. It's about 6 years old now. This insured has collected $71,000 in benefits in a 6-year time frame. Okay, now how many of your clients are going to have that amount of money in savings? The answer is probably going to be very, very few because the average household savings amount is just under $9,000. All right, say they are one of those average Americans. How many of them can actually use it for healthcare events without it resulting in a lifestyle change? The answer is going to be very few because, as we all know, hospital costs can skyrocket, especially the longer you stay in the hospital. So that's why you want to write them a hospital indemnity plan. with a carrier that has the most years of claim processing expertise in the marketplace, and that's us here at GTL. And just in case those numbers weren't big enough for you, to give you a more broader idea of how much we've paid out in the past 5 years, we've paid out $192 million in claims in hospital indemnity and cancer claims to our policyholders. So again, we really do mean it when we say we built this plan to be used. All right, so that's real quick how it's going to affect your client, but how's it going to affect you as the agent? Pretty simple. So if you see 100 Medicare Advantage prospects and you have an average closing rate of 70% on Advantage Plus sales, that's an additional 70 commissionable policies. So that's a great way to keep your cash flow up during AEP. And not only that, is that all of your Medicare Advantage clients that you sold to during AEP, you can actually get back with them at any point during the year to sell to them again, because this plan does not have to be sold strictly during AEP. It can be sold all year long. All right. So again, this is a great way to keep your cash flow up during AEP because you do get paid weekly as your policies are issued. And it's a great way to protect your book of business by taking such good care of your clients. All right, now we're going to get into some of the benefits. So what makes this plan elite? I'm going to go ahead and get through these here. So give you time to kind of note these down, or if you want to take a picture, feel free. First, we have our benefit trigger. All right, hospitalization benefits actually start after 6 hours of being confined in the hospital, and that does include observation. Not only that, we expanded our daily benefit options with, we have now more options there. We have a 1-day option. You can take out 3 to 10 days of coverage or a 15-day plan. I mentioned earlier, we've never increased rates on this plan. We actually took it a step further and found we can actually lower our premium rates. You'll actually see them up to 14% lower in certain states. All right, we no longer have an additional $20 application fee. We do have a policy fee now in place of that, but it's still better for both you and the insured, and I'll tell you why later on in the presentation. We enhanced our emergency room benefit. We are no longer requiring any admittance to be paid on that. And we expanded those benefits to the urgent care facility as well. Our underwriting got a little easier. We are now only looking back 90 days for prior hospitalizations, as opposed to the 180 days it was at before. We expanded our benefit options on our skilled nursing rider. We also even added a brand new rider, occupational therapy. All right. We lowered the rates on our outpatient surgical rider. And again, we now have straight through processing technology. So apps are capable to be issued in seconds. All right. We are constantly innovating here. This is just some of the examples of the feedback we've taken from the field and implemented into our product. So the more you study on this, the better we can even make it for yourselves in the future. But as for right now, this is going to be the best coverage you do see in the marketplace, and we plan on keeping it that way. All right, I mentioned we have a guarantee issue period, all right? Our guarantee issue age range used to be for those aged 64 and a half up to 65 and a half. We went ahead and made that even better now. We expanded that range up to age 68. All right, these are your clients who do not have to answer any health questions for their hospitalization benefits. However, that change has not been approved in every state as of yet. The states you see on the screen here in light green is where that change has been approved. Those states in dark green still have the older guarantee issue age range of 64 and a half to 65 and a half. Okay, and this is where our policy is available for sale. It's 44 states. All the states here in gray are not approved for sale. You can't sell them there. But some things that are good to know is that you can use your policy in all 50 states, regardless of if it's available for sale there or not. Quick example being, you sign someone up today in Texas. Let's say down the road they move to New York. Now, GTL is not even approved to do business in New York of any kind. But since you did write them in Texas, they're covered. They go to the hospital in New York, they're totally fine. They can keep their policy with them if they move. It's that simple. They don't need to change their policy if they change Medicare Advantage carriers either. They can keep it as is because this does not really work in conjunction with Medicare Advantage plans, although it is easy to tailor your plan to match up Medicare Advantage plans. All right. Now, Advantage Plus Elite is not yet available for sale in every single state, but if you refer to this map here, it's available in most. You'll see the light green states is where Elite is approved, and the dark green states is where an older version of Advantage Plus still is. They don't have the enhanced benefits. And then Florida is an association state. You'll see it as light blue here. It works the exact same way as Advantage Plus Elite. There's just association benefits that are included with that as well.
Hey, Zach, one quick question.
Yeah.
Like here in Texas, I'm running a quote as we're speaking.
Mhm.
I see Advantage Plus and Advantage Plus Elite. So will agents still have the ability to quote both of them?
You should only be able to select Advantage Plus Elite. Like if you click Advantage Plus, it might just take you straight to Advantage Plus Elite.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And if
so
we see it comes in, if we see like Advantage Plus comes in a state where Elite is available, we'd reach out to you regardless to let you know that we probably need a new application.
Okay, got it.
Alrighty, yeah. All right, and here's a quick little cross-selling feature that we built in. We have a consumer video available to be shown to your clients whenever. And over the past few years, QR codes have been popping up like crazy at restaurants and bars. You hover your phone over this. I'm sure most of you have seen this already, but you hover your phone over the image of the QR code and it pulls up the restaurant or bar's menu. So GTL, we took advantage of that feature and we put it on the front of all of our brochures. So if you're ever in person with a client and can't access the consumer video or you're having trouble finding it, if you have this brochure on you, you hover your phone over it, it'll take you straight through that video and you can show it to your client on your mobile device. All right, so one common objection or hesitancy we do see from agents in the field is that they're a little nervous about talking about hospital indemnity during a Medicare appointment, okay? They're not really allowed to, but you can if you have a scope of sales appointment confirmation form filled out and signed off to be talking about hospital indemnity products. This is something you can pull from Google. All you gotta do is Google scope of sales appointment confirmation form. There's not one for any specific company. You should be good to go if you find that on Google, have it filled out. You can talk about hospital indemnity as much as you want during your Medicare appointment then.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Zach, because a lot of these agents are worried about compliance, especially now that we're going to have to start recording our sales conversations that we have with our insureds. And guys, don't have to worry about it. Let them sign the scope of appointment and you are in the clear.
Yep.
Offer this at the exact same time that you're doing your MA appointment.
Yep, you won't need to circle back in that case.
Correct.
Alrighty, so how are we going to design an Advantage Plus plan? All right. We mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation. There's first going to be two simple questions. How many days do they have a hospitalization stay copay? And once you find that information, you can then choose the best matching Advantage Plus Elite benefit period. Now, all of these benefits fully restore after 60 days of no hospital confinement, and there are unlimited benefit period restorations for the life of the policy. Second question, what's going to be their daily hospitalization copay amount? After you find that, you can then choose the appropriate daily confinement benefit amount on the Advantage Plus plan. Anyone you sign up for a one-day plan, you can choose anywhere between a $1,000 benefit and a $2,500 benefit. The one-day plan does include a 25% short stay benefit. I'll tell you why on the next slide, I believe here. But any other benefit days, 3 through 10 or 15-day benefit period, you have the option to choose between $100 per day up to $750 per day. But note here that there is a $20 minimum monthly premium requirement. Pretty rare that you wouldn't be able to meet that. But if you ever do run into that, you can always bump up the daily benefit amount by like $10 or so, or you want to add on an ambulance rider that's very inexpensive. That's the best way to meet that requirement. All right, but note with whichever benefit period you do choose, you'll also get the included benefits listed below. First, you'll have your emergency room benefit. This pays $150 for any ER visit or urgent care expenses due to an injury. And note here that admittance as an inpatient is not required to get that benefit anymore. And this is something that is paid in addition to the base plan benefit for any injury hospitalizations. In addition to the ER benefit, you'll also receive a mental health benefit. This pays $175 per day for up to 7 days per calendar year. if your client is confined for any mental health condition. This benefit, unlike the ER benefit, is not paid in addition to the other base plan benefits. So you do want to keep that in mind. All right, so what's going to trigger the base plan coverage? It's always going to be the amount of time spent in the hospital. All right, I mentioned earlier, the 1-day benefit is a little different. So the benefit trigger on this one to receive the full benefit is 24 hours. All right, however, this includes a 25% short stay benefit in case any of their stays last for 6 hours, all the way up to 24 hours. They'll receive 25% of the benefit amount you sign them up for. All other benefit plans pay after 6 hours, okay? So keep that in mind. The 1-day plan's a little special. Everything else pays their full daily benefit after 6 hours. Some typical uses of the hospital confinement are any scheduled surgeries, unexpected illnesses that pop up, or, accidental hospitalizations due to some injuries, car accidents, people fall off ladders if they're doing housework, anything. Anything that lands in the hospital, such as those, is something the benefit can be used for. All right, so I briefly mentioned this earlier, but we all know uncovered observations pretty much make people unhappy because they're pretty much left with a bill for simply sitting in a hospital bed. Many times they feel completely fine. They went into the hospital, they were given a prescription for something, who knows what the reason was, but everything was dealt with. However, they're still being kept there because the doctor's still checking on them. Nurses are checking their blood pressure levels, whatever it may be. They still need to check on the patient to make sure they're okay before discharging them. However, they're not just staying there for free, right? There will still be a copay based on how long you are being kept on observation. So when they do receive that bill that they're on the hook for sitting in that bed, they'll be very unhappy. So GTL saw that. We went ahead and said, you know what, we'll treat this exactly the same way as any other hospitalizations, because this will pay 6+ hour observation stays at 100% of the daily hospital benefit level. All right, and something that's also cool is that the covered observation days actually count toward the daily benefit period purchased. No restriction on the amount of observation days used per benefit period either. So again, this is totally built for use. To give you an example on base plan restoration, remember it's 60 days, but this first example we're going to look at is someone you signed up for a 6-day plan. So let's say your policyholder had a 3-day hospital stay and then they went home. All right, they technically have 3 days remaining as part of their plan, but they did not need to go to the hospital for 60 consecutive days. After they reach that 60-day mark, that policyholder now has a brand new 6-day benefit period to use. We will not force them to exhaust all the days in their plan before restoring it. It's always going to be based on the amount of days since their last hospital visit. And in the second example, we'll look at someone very similar. They went to the hospital for 3 days and went home. However, this time they had to go back to the hospital within those 60 days for 3 more days. So in this example, your client actually exhausted the plan's benefits. That's not to say they're hung out to dry and their policy expires. If they don't go into the hospital again for 60 consecutive days, that policyholder again is a brand new 6-day benefit period. This plan has an unlimited amount of benefit restorations, okay? As long as they keep the plan in force, they're golden for as long as they live. All right, so quick little question. And it's a tip for you all as well. So let's say your client has a Medicare Advantage plan. And on this Medicare Advantage plan, they have a 5-day inpatient hospitalization copay. Now, scenario or something pops up, they have to go in the hospital for 6 days. So if he has a 6-day benefit period on the Advantage Plus plan that you wrote him, how many days of claim benefits is he going to receive? Is it 5 days since it's the Medicare Advantage plan's copay, or is it 6 days? The answer is going to be 6 days here. So Advantage Plus benefits are paid based on the GTL policy alone. We do not look at the Medicare Advantage plan copay amounts when we pay our claims. We like to, have our agents market the phrase above and beyond any other insurance, because it truly is. We don't pay based on any other insurance policies that the client might have. This is an indemnity plan. It's going to be their money. Some other product closers for you all. We want to really take advantage of the guarantee issue age range here now, especially with AEP right around the corner. Again, that's ages 64 and a half to 68. 68 do not have to answer any health questions unless they're taking out the cancer rider. And I'll talk to you a little bit about the cancer rider and later on in the presentation. But the base plan issue ages, you can write anyone in between the ages of 40 and 85. You can't write any new clients after age 85, but they can still keep their plans. Now, your clients are going to continue to pay the same rate as they age. Now, we do have to say that these rates are not guaranteed to remain level, but it's important to note and bring to your client's attention that we have never increased the rates on this plan as long as we've had the plan, and that's 17 years. There is no application fee. I mentioned this already. However, we do have a policy fee. That policy fee is $20 per policyholder, and it's already included in the rate quote. It's not a separate draft or anything like that. And if you look back to the beginning of the presentation, I told you all that our rates are actually now lower, up to 14% in certain states, and this policy fee is included in that. So it's something to keep in mind when you're talking about that with your client. And as the agent, it's beneficial to you because that policy fee is commissionable in year one, whereas the old application fee we had was not. And then lastly, again, these benefits are all paid directly to the policyholder and above and beyond any other insurance they do have. All right, and this is important. You need to make sure you mention this during every single appointment that you do have, is that GTL has a pre-existing conditions limitation on this plan. What is a pre-existing condition? That is any sickness or injury for which medical care, treatment, diagnosis, or advice was received or recommended within the 6-month period immediately prior to your effective date of coverage. Okay, so what is that going to look like on a policy? Here's a quick example. All right, so there's a 6-month waiting period for any pre-existing conditions. Let's say in this particular scenario, your client was diagnosed with a condition within the 6 months prior to the policy's effective date. Now they try submitting a claim within the first 6 months after their policy's effective date. That claim will not be covered, and that claim will be covered after that 6-month period has been satisfied, but no claims will be paid for any pre-existing conditions within the first 6 months of the policy. All right, and this also applies to any guarantee issue applicants. All right, you may ask yourself, how is that possible if they're not answering any health questions? That we still will look at health records of clients that do send in claims for the first 6-month period, because and the policy still is contestable for 24 months. All right, but anything else, this is available for use on day one. So they'll be having immediate coverage for anything that is not a pre-existing condition. You write someone a plan today, tomorrow they break their hip and go to the hospital, they'll be paid, and we will send them a check. All right, and again, quick little message for you all here is that some states do look a little different and have different benefit triggers and riders available. So if you are ever selling in a non-resident state or a state in which you're not really too familiar with the coverage options there, you can always refer to one of the outlines of coverages available to you on the agent portal. Or if you would like one directly sent to you, or if you want to talk over the benefits with someone at GTL, please feel free to contact our sales support department. They can be reached at this number here. That is 800-323-6907. They can discuss the plan with you, or can actually place an order for it, any material to be sent out to you. All right, now I'm going to get into the riders on the plan here. So first we have our ambulance rider. This rider has lower rates now. We went ahead and lowered those, but this rider, I honestly believe that this should be added onto every single plan that you do write. It's very inexpensive. It's about $4 on average, I would say. It might even be less now. All right, you can choose from a $50 benefit up to a $400 daily usage benefit anytime they take the ambulance. This benefit's payable up to 4 times a year, and it has a lifetime maximum of 12 trips. All right, we all know it costs money to take the ambulance. So if you can get someone a rider that'll pay for the ambulance for 3 $3.50 a month. Why not? All right. There's no hospital confinement required to trigger this rider. It can be an ER stay, a short observation stay, or an inpatient stay. It doesn't matter. That rider will pay. And not only that, is that air ambulance coverage is also included. All right. So next, we have the second, in my opinion, most important rider to talk about with your clients is our lump sum cancer rider. All right. Cancer can affect pretty much anybody. Okay. Most of us here, if not all of us, do know someone who has been affected by cancer in some sort of way. Those are just statistics. All right. But this is something that just pays a lump sum dollar amount based on the diagnosis of any invasive or life-threatening cancer. The coverage choices range from $2,500 all the way up to $20,000. There is an option to select recurrence, which would pay another lump sum amount if a cancer does come back, or if another cancer comes along down the road. And I'll get a little more into detail in a little bit about that. But included with this plan, with this rider, is coverage for cancer in situ. This is paid upon diagnosis as well. This benefit is equal to 25% of the lump sum coverage amount you sign them up for, payable one time over the life of the policy. Now you might be asking yourselves, what is cancer in situ? Because I know I didn't know what it was before I started working in insurance, but all it is an early stage cancer in which the cancerous growth or tumor is still confined to the site from which it originated and has not yet spread to any surrounding tissue or any other organs in the body. You may also hear it referred to as stage 0 cancer sometimes, but if you ever do hear that, know that they're talking about cancer in situ. All right, we also have skin cancer benefits built in. Again, paid upon diagnosis, you will receive $500 for any basal cell or squamous cell skin carcinoma. This, however, is payable 3 times over the life of the policy. All right, so again, we build this plan to be used, all right? And part of its use is, making sure your clients are covered as much as possible. All right, what does that mean? In this instance, we're going to talk about helping your clients cover their maximum out of pocket, not only once, but we're going to help them cover it twice. All right, how are we going to do that? So cancer treatments like chemo or radiation, they could start at the tail end of 1 year and continue into the beginning of the next year. All right, we all know cancer doesn't really have an itinerary. It'll show up whenever it wants. So the treatment will happen anytime. Over 2 years, not that uncommon. Or let's say the treatment can also be needed for a second time. It doesn't matter. So what are you going to do? You're going to write them, for this example, we're going to write a $10,000 lump sum plan, or a lump sum rider, I should say. And in this example, your client's going to have a maximum out of pocket of $5,000. So in this example, your client gets diagnosed and chemo is needed, and chemo is completed in the fall of 2022. All right, they were diagnosed, so GTL, we sent them out a check for $10,000. All right, they used that $5,000 to cover their maximum out of pocket. What are they going to do with that remaining $5,000? Here's where that comes into play. Chemotherapy is now needed again in the spring of 2023. That's a brand new year. So what does that mean? There's a brand new maximum out of pocket to reach. Luckily, you were a smart agent. You gave them more money than they needed initially for the maximum out of pocket, and they do not have to worry about covering that again because they can use the remaining $5,000 that we paid out to them to cover it. That's simple. Alrighty, so I briefly mentioned recurrence earlier. Now we're going to go over a recurrence example to show you how beneficial that is for your client to have. Again, for this example, we're going to be looking at a $10,000 rider. First up, they get diagnosed with a cancer. After that happens, we send them out a check for $10,000. After they do their treatment, they got diagnosed to be in remission. However, after 5 years of being in remission, they unfortunately got diagnosed with another form of covered cancer. Since it's been 5 years, that rider is now 100% restored. So us at GTL, we sent them out another check for another $10,000. All right, it can even be the same type of cancer. It doesn't have to be different. If they get diagnosed again after 5 years, it's 100% restored, and we'll send it out to them. All right, so what happens if cancer shows up again before 5 years? Because as I just mentioned, cancer doesn't really have a schedule, comes and goes as it pleases. So they're not going to be left hung out to dry. If it does come back before that 5-year plan or that 5-year marker, they'll still receive benefit just at a lesser amount. So after year 1, they would receive 10% of that benefit. After years 2 and 3, they'll receive 25%. After year 4, they'll receive half of the original amount. And then again, it's not until after year 5, they receive 100% of that lump sum rider again. Okay. Now, something to note here is that Advantage Plus, the hospitalization benefits, there's no waiting period when it comes to any non-pre-X claims. However, for cancer, you do want to make sure you know that there is a 30-day waiting period. Okay, so next up, we have our critical accident rider. This rider also has a 30-day waiting period, but pretty simple to understand. After any ER visit, the rider will pay a lump sum benefit for any of the following types of injuries you see on the right-hand side of your screen. There are 2 different plans to choose from, a $5,000 and a $10,000 plan. The amount they get paid is based on the event. Obviously, you can see those numbers listed for you here. Next up, we have our skilled nursing facility rider. There are 2 coverage options available with this one. There's a daily benefit to be paid on each one, but how they receive it is up to them. First, they can select to receive that benefit for days 1 through 50. And the second option is receiving that benefit for days 21 through 100. Both benefit options allow them the choice of how much they want to receive, and you can choose anywhere between $100 a day all the way up to $220 a day. The rider requirements is that the skilled nursing facility stay is going to be for the same condition they were hospitalized with, and the stay begins within 30 days of a hospitalization lasting at least 3 consecutive days. Some things to note is that observation time in the hospital does count towards that 3-day requirement, and both of these benefit options restore, just like Advantage Plus, after 60 days of no confinement in a hospital or a skilled nursing facility. Next rider we have is our outpatient surgery rider, payable in a lump sum. This also has lower rates now. The coverage options are $250 up to $1,000 in form of lump sum. This is something that can be used 2 times per calendar year for surgical procedures only. We will not pay benefit on any MRIs, X-rays, or any other non-surgical procedures like that. And then lastly, we got the lump sum hospital benefit rider here. This is an additional lump sum amount to be paid in addition to their daily hospitalization amount in forms of $250, $500, or $750. All right, and this is our brand new rider, okay? We have an outpatient therapy benefit rider available now. This pays a $50 daily benefit for each day your client receives any physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy. You can choose between a 15-day or 30-day calendar year benefit. Now, you note here, you are limited to one $50 benefit per day. So if ever something happens where your client needs multiple therapies over the course of treatment, we would advise you to have them schedule their sessions on staggering days. That way, if they get 2 therapies in one day, they're not feeling like they got shortchanged there because they'll still only receive $50. So you stagger your days, they'll receive more benefit. We also have chiropractic therapy covered at $50 a day, but this is only for up to 5 days per calendar year, not 15 or 30. All right, so that's pretty much it in terms of the riders and their benefits, okay? Now I'm gonna touch on some underwriting really quickly before we get into consumer marketing and our e-app. So first up, it's a very simplified issue, okay? It's a yes/no application. All health questions that you do see, if your insured answers any of them yes, they are not eligible for coverage. If they can answer everything no, they're good to go, all right? Again, you do have a guarantee issue age range, 64.5 up to age 68. You note here, bolded in parentheses, the lump sum cancer rider, that's not guarantee issue. So if you have someone within that age range and they do want the cancer coverage, there's a separate section of cancer questions that they would have to answer before qualifying. All right. And again, the 6-month pre-X still applies to guarantee issue holders, and the policy is contestable for 24 months. As for payment types and modes on this plan, You can have a bank draft or a direct bill. We don't accept any credit cards at this time, but the main difference between a bank draft and direct bill is how you're collecting payment. With any bank draft, you don't need to collect any premium. You need their banking information and you're good to go. All right. With direct bill, you actually do not have the option to send them up on a monthly direct bill. Okay. It would have to be at least quarterly. But if they do want a direct bill, just know that you would need to use a paper application and collect the first premium to send in along with that application. All right, and here's a quick little tip here.
Zach, quick question. If they do
Sure.
paper, do they get advanced commissions or is it going to get paid as earned?
It's still, well, how they get paid commissions in terms of being advanced or not is completely independent of how they send in their business. If they're set up on advances, they're good to go. It doesn't make a difference to us if it's paper or electronic.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're good there. In terms of how accessible our coverage is though, I'll give you a short little example. Well, first of all, we're only looking back 3 months for any prior hospitalizations, nursing home visits, or home healthcare received. Now, in the short time that I've been with GTL, I've been here just under 5 years, but from when I started, this was first looking back 12 months. All right, and a couple of years ago, we cut that in half to 6 months, and fast forward to today, we cut it in half again by 3 months. So GTL does constantly look at ways to make coverage more accessible for client holders because we do realize the need for this particular type of insurance. And, it's not fun to put hurdles in front of people and getting coverage. So we like making it as easy as possible. All right, and some quick did you knows. So GTL, we have fewer underwriting questions, easier qualification standards to take out policies. We now have lower premium rates, and we have multiple cross-selling tools to help you prospect and close any sales that you do have. And again, it's funny that we get to brag about having the most experience when it comes to claims because no one else really had a choice because we're the first ones in the industry with this plan, and we pay claims faster. Our EAP platforms help issue business in a matter of minutes. All right, the more business you write on our EAP platforms, the better you're going to get at knowing where everything is on the app. And those minutes are just going to keep decreasing. It's going to just become a matter of how fast you can read your insurance questions and coach them through the application. All right, now we do pay claims really fast, but as part of that, you're still going to want to manage your client's expectations. I'll touch on that in a little bit. All right. First, I want to talk about any increases in base plan that you might need to do in the future. So let's say you've written a good amount of business now and your client's Medicare Advantage plans might change a little bit. They might be on the hook for more of a copay in the future. You can definitely still increase their Advantage Plus plan that they have with GTL. You can do this online. How to do so is you would need a $50 minimum increase on that daily base plan. You only want to list that base plan increase amount or the riders that they're adding on. They will have to go through underwriting again, and a second policy number will be issued for any increase. All right, and this is a quick little look at what the EAP might look like on your mobile devices. How to download it, rather simple. Any Apple device, you want to go to the App Store and search for the GTL EAP. If you have an Android or an Android tablet, you want to search for the GTL EAP on your Google Play Store. All right. There is a difference in how you submit business. Like if you're going to be using the mobile app, I'm going to let you know you would need to be in person to do that. The reason being is how you collect the signature. The signature on our mobile app is only available to be collected with the insured's finger. They will actually sign your device right then and there. You can't do that on a PC because on the PC through the Agent Portal website, that signature is going to be collected via a voice verification call. That phone call basically makes the application valid. On this phone call, the call only takes like 2 to 3 minutes. They'll be asked very basic information that I would hope they know the answer to, such as their first and last name, their date of birth, the name of the agent who wrote them the policy, the name of the plan itself, and 2 questions confirming that A, they understood and answered all the health questions truthfully on the application, and B, that they understand that in order to keep their coverage in force, that regular premium payments are going to need to be made. That's simple. All right, now how is a claim processed? Rather simple. We have claim forms available for clients to fill out, or if you want to print them off on behalf of your client, you're more than welcome to. These are available on GTL's main website. You do not need to go into the agent portal to find these. It's much quicker to do it on the homepage. Our website is gtlic.com if you don't have that already. But once you click on, it's a button called File a Claim on our home screen, you'll be shown claim forms for every single one of our products. And this is going to be the first page of every single one. It's a simple checklist, making sure you cannot forget anything that might be needed to process that claim. All right, and these are examples of what the forms are going to look like. Anything that does require any handwriting, any print, you are going to want to send in. All right, now about managing your client's claim expectations. I mentioned GTL pays claims very fast. We do, all right? And we pay all viable claims. GTL has no desire to delay these payments or deny any claims. Again, we boast that we have plans that are built for use, and we truly mean that, okay? We welcome the policyholder calls about their claim. That's totally fine. If they want to know if something is going on, feel free. Now, if you want to service them as their agent and kind of check on it for them, you are more than welcome to do so. However, you do need to realize that we can only be as transparent as the HIPAA regulations allow us. So please be patient if you ever do call in with an agent request. And in terms of turnaround time, we're looking at right now, we have an average of 8 business days turnaround once we have the information that is needed. And let's say some additional information is needed. Medical records, to be specific. If those are necessary, we actually pay for them, and we'll place a follow-up call with the doctor's office every 3 days until we do receive them. All right, so those are claims. And now we're going to look at a quick example here of how to master the cross-sale. All right, it might be a little intimidating for some of you, but it's rather simple once we break it down. So first, I'm going to ask you all, you guys are probably already aware of this situation all too well, but when are clients going to call you asking to lower their out-of-pocket hospitalization costs? If you let them ask you, more likely than not, they're not going to be eligible anymore because they already suffered a health event that's going to disqualify them from taking out the plan. They go into the hospital and see that they have copays due. It's too late to apply because the first health question we ask on our application is, have they been hospitalized within the last 90 days? So you want to avoid that situation and bring it up at the point of sale. All right. Now, are you going to need a very smooth, funny, witty cross-selling line to sell this plan? The answer is going to be no. All right. Anything that sounds cheesy, corny, whatever you might think of it, that can work. Reason being, all you'd have to do is bring up Advantage Plus Elite and use our cross-selling tools, and you're pretty much golden. All right. But if you do want some examples to see how some of our top agents get the cross-sale started, we'll go over that right now. All right. You have all the tools necessary if you're on a Medicare Advantage sale, right? And that tool that you need is their Medicare Advantage plan. All right. What you're going to want to do is highlight the copay section on inpatient hospital care. All right. You're going to let them know, hey, with this Medicare Advantage plan, it looks like you're going to be responsible for a $250 daily copay for the first 6 days of a hospital stay. Now, if that daily hospital copay is concerning, or let's say you don't want to have to budget for it, don't worry. I have this cool Advantage Plus Elite plan that for about $1 a day, it can lower your net out-of-pocket expenses to 0. Does that sound good to you? So, you mentioned a plan that can actually lower the cost to 0. Of course, they're going to say yes, right? Why would they not want to learn about it? They're responsible people. Everyone wants to take care of their finances. And if you don't want to, be as direct as that when you're selling the Medicare Advantage, you can use the opportunity you have when you're going over their application. Let's say you're making sure all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. While you're going over the paperwork, show them this consumer video I'm about to show you. All right. While you're finishing up their paperwork and making sure nothing was left out, this is a great tool you can use to show them the benefits of Advantage Plus and what it will look like to them as the client if they did have this plan. All right. I'll show this to you right now.
Hey, Zach, just FYI, we can't hear it.
Thanks for letting me know. Let's see here. Let's see. How about...
So, you
Yep, we
just
got it.
enrolled for
Thanks.
Medicare Advantage health coverage. Great choice. Did you know there is additional coverage you can add to protect you from the out-of-pocket medical expenses you are still responsible for? Help fill any gaps in coverage and strengthen your financial protection with a hospital confinement indemnity insurance policy from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Since 2005, GTL's industry-leading hospital indemnity insurance has been helping clients lower or completely eliminate their net out-of-pocket expenses stemming from Medicare Advantage copays and deductibles after a hospitalization event. Coverage is affordable and pays you directly based on your time in the hospital, regardless of any other healthcare coverage you have or where in the U.S. you receive care. Your potential out-of-pocket costs could be for a variety of services, including ambulance trips, outpatient therapy, critical accidents, and more. GTL's hospital indemnity insurance allows you to customize your coverage to help cover these and many others. Let's see a quick example on how it works. Meet Beth. She is 65 years old and her Medicare Advantage coverage leaves her responsible for a daily hospitalization copay of $300 per day for her first 6 days in the hospital. Knowing she would be responsible for her high copay, her agent helped her customize and apply for a GTL Hospital Indemnity Insurance policy. Beth's new policy provided a restorable 6-day benefit period of $300 per day for less than $25 per month. A few months later, Beth suffered an illness that kept her in the hospital for 6 days. Her GTL Hospital Indemnity Insurance kicked in after the first 6 hours of her stay. Beth received $1,800 directly from GTL for her hospitalization, which she used to completely cover her Medicare Advantage copay. Instead of worrying about how to pay her high copay, Beth could focus on her recovery without a financial setback. You shouldn't have to worry about covering out-of-pocket medical expenses, so now is a great time to think about GTL's hospital indemnity insurance.
All right. So as you can see, that video does an excellent job at explaining the benefits very high level and letting the client know what would be available to them if they ever do get hospitalized and how they'll be taken care of by GTL. So we get a lot of questions on whether or not you can distribute this as the agent, and the answer is yes. Pretty much have a field day and go crazy with this video. It's already been approved by our compliance department to be distributed by you all. So if you want to share it during any appointments or on social media, if you have a personal website, or you're still prospecting via email, have at it, okay? Have a blast with this thing. We know how great this video works for most of our agents here, so we really do want you to take full advantage of it. Okay, let's say you don't have access to the video, or you prefer sending out mailers or whatever it is. You can use our infographic flyer, okay? This is another marketing piece that we get tons of positive feedback on. This is essentially that same video I just showed you all on print, okay? You can either download these as a PDF on your computer, or you can actually place an order via the agent portal on GT Link, free of charge. Okay, so real quick here, I'm gonna close very shortly, but I want to give you all a quick little example to show the true impact Advantage Plus has after one incident. Okay, we're going to look at the copay example and an Advantage Plus annual premium. So we're looking at one ambulance trip to the hospital and 1 day of hospital confinement. We're looking at $550 in terms of a copay on their Medicare Advantage. Now, if you want to look to the column on the right-hand side, we're going to look at a 65-year-old, since that's the age group we're about to deal with. Annual premium for a 6-day benefit period with a $300 per day payout and a $250 ambulance rider is $320. So they're netting, it's a $230 difference right off the bat. They go to the hospital once, they're completely taken care of, and they don't have to worry about that copay again. Now, that's only one incident That's not to say like who's to say they're not going to be in the hospital longer, right? They'll just keep receiving money. Everything else after that first incident, that's just icing on the cake at that point, right? Especially for them. They're going to have more money in their pocket and less worry about going into the hospital in the future and having to cover those types of bills. All right, so again, it's only going to take that one hospitalization to realize the true value of this plan. And again, there are no limits to the lifetime policy benefits because there is unlimited restoration on this plan. Okay, now I get asked a lot if we can share our slides with you all. The answer is no, unfortunately. Our compliance department will not let the sales managers send slides over. However, we get requested that so often, so we actually came up with a client presentation piece available. This you can find on the agent portal under consumer marketing. It's not necessarily a PowerPoint, but it's a PDF of quote unquote slides that you can show your insureds during any appointments that you are on. It's a great way to look a lot more professional when you are on any appointment. It does a great job at going over the benefits, and you can kind of pick and choose there through the benefits on these slides to customize your own client's needs. So if you ever are wanting something, that's what you're going to want to refer to.
Zach, are you able to go to the agent portal and show where agents can go order supplies?
Yeah, let me do that real quick for you. I can do that right now. Let me know if you can still see my screen. Are we okay?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, cool. Alrighty. So this is our agent portal right here. GTLIC.com is where you're first going to go. You want to go to agent login. You'll use your login credential there. Once it pops up, you want to go to access GT link. All right, big button in the middle. Once you get there, download and order forms. That first option that you see, you'll select your state. I believe most of you are in Texas. You select your product, and you do have the option to select specific forms you're looking for. I always tell agents don't even worry about that third column because in my opinion, it's easier just to select the state and product because once you click search, you'll see all available materials on that screen for you. So once you get to this page, you want to order a bunch of brochures, type in the number that you want. You want to click update cart. They'll add them to your cart. Or if you don't want to order physical copies, you can click a download right here. It'll download as a PDF right there. All right, but you want to continue with your order. Click on your cart. You click continue, make sure that's correct. And it should have your contact information, mailing address listed for you there. If it's incorrect, you do have the option to go ahead and delete it and edit it as needed, okay? And if you want to find any consumer marketing pieces, it's the same section here, access GT link. You click consumer marketing, select your product, Advantage plus Elite, that's where you'll see everything. You got the consumer video here, that client presentation, the flyer, infographic. You'll be good to go. That's going to be your hub for all things marketing. So
Great.
That's what I got for you. So
one question here, and
yeah,
man, I may have missed it. The dental and vision rider. So suppose you choose a $1,200 benefit amount. That's total what they'll get for either dental or vision, right? It's not for each one.
So the dental vision rider works a little differently, well, actually a lot differently than the hospitalization. So I can pull up, let me see here. There's an outline of coverage on it, or let me see, I might have a slide for you guys, one sec.
We get asked quite a bit because on a lot of Medicare Advantage plans, the dental portion of it is on major is a 50-50 split. So I'm wondering how this is going to kind of help them out with that.
Okay, so here's our dental vision rider. Okay, you're going to have three options. You can choose a $400 benefit, $800, or $1,200. Now, in the first calendar year, okay, well, with any year, there's going to be a $100 deductible, okay? But in the first calendar year deductible, or once that's satisfied, 80% of charges up to 50% of the maximum benefit level chosen are now available. And in the second calendar year and thereafter, it's 80% of actual charges up to 100% of that benefit level chosen are available. So that's like first and foremost, like that's it in basic terms, but there are still waiting periods for certain types of care. All right. Now you have a 3-month waiting period before preventative care benefits are available. Once that's satisfied, your client can get up to $75 for any preventative dental appointments per calendar year, and they can get up to $50 for one basic eye exam or refraction per calendar year. All right. Now there's a 6-month waiting period and a 12-month waiting period as well. After the 6-month waiting period, any benefits available for fillings or root canal treatments up to the rider maximum and insured percent are now available, and they'll also receive $200 if they ever need any prescription eyewear or contacts. And then after that 12-month waiting period, bridges, crowns, full dentures, partials, or any treatment relating to the replacement of natural teeth, outpatient dental surgery, or any full mouth extractions or fluoride treatments are now available, okay? But after that 12-month period, you're good to go once you hit the deductible.
Okay.
And there's actually a separate like outline of coverage on the dental vision rider itself. So if you ever do need to refer to that, I would suggest getting that from the agent portal. All right, let's see here.
Now, I would tell you, I just ran. Now there's a minimum premium of $240 because I was running a 5-day stay, $100 a day benefit, $400 ambulance. And the premium was like $10 a month. I mean, it was dirt cheap.
Yeah, it's very rare. I would see a plan come in like that, but yeah, there's a $20 minimum monthly payment, which is $240 annually. Yes.
So you might as well build it up. I took one of the things I added, and I do this quite a bit with my insureds, is you got to add a little cancer. They're going to get, most carriers are a 20% co-insurance up to that maximum out of pocket. And in my area, you're looking at about $3,900 on average. So if we do a $5,000 benefit on top of adding the hospital, the ambulance, and I'm sure the ER is already built into the hospital, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm at $30 a month premium for this. And I'll tell agents, especially the ones that are dealing with insurers that are coming off a work plan, or even on an ACA type of plan. If they're coming off a plan and they're used to paying premium, now they're entering Medicare. Yeah, they got to pay the Part B premium unless they have Medicaid. But when you go offer an MAPD with $0 premium, don't just stop there. Offer this. Throw it out there. Offer it. I mean, all they can say is no.
Yeah, no harm. Really, all you're doing is doing them a favor.
Exactly. You offer it out there, and then you can kind of indemnify them for some of these costs. And you're right. Most of my seniors in my area, I'll tell them, on a 5-day, $100 a day type of plan, I'll ask them, do you have $500? And literally they'll just look at me like, no, I'm lucky to have $5 left in my account at the end of the month. So we need ourselves, we as agents may think $500 piece of cake, no big deal. But for some of these seniors, paying that small premium is, even if they just said $20, okay, you know what? I'm going to take the hospital benefit or the cancer from $5,000 to $2,500. And let's see here, is it changing the premium much? I got to redo this. Wait, log me out. Okay. I'm going to rerun it again. I'm just curious to see how much it would drop it from.
Yeah, that's all right. I did see a question come in about 3-month look back before us compared to 6-month look back. I do want to clarify that. So there is only a 3-month look back for any prior hospitalizations or any visits to a skilled nursing facility or receiving any certain types of home health care. There is a 6-month, quote unquote, look back under the pre-existing conditions limitation. That's the main difference. So I do want to make sure I clear that up. It's only 6 months for anything pre-existing. And that doesn't mean it's a hospitalization, okay? That can be a doctor's visit where they were advised they might need surgery, or they were prescribed a cancer medication or something like that. Those are the things like we're going to be looking for under the pre-existing conditions limitation. Nothing to do with like hospitalization, only something that was there before. Okay, I want to make sure that's clear.
So I just ran the rate for that insured that I was talking about. That was
Mhm.
$30 a month. By dropping it to 2,500, I'm at $22 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, I'm loving this thing. I think agents need to, if they don't have this product yet, they definitely need to add it to their portfolio, and they need to offer it every single time.
Every time.
With these seniors.
Every time.
Yep. Great product. Well, I appreciate you, Zach. I think we're rocking. Here's what I'll tell you, agents. Super important to add it. If you don't have it, go to your immediate upline and ask them for it. If you don't have it, hit me up, guys. I will help you out. Email me at luis@360insurancegroup.com, and I'll give you a hand with this thing and point you in the right direction. But you definitely want to have this in your portfolio. It's one of those things that it's a must have. You can't leave this off the table. So with that said, Zach, I don't see any other questions that have popped up on the chat. So I think we're good. Thank you for asking, Greg.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we're good on that. Man, I'll get this to our 40+ agents that were on the call this morning. And I appreciate you redoing this with me one more time, man. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. Whatever I can do to help.
Well, here's what's coming next. Zach, get ready, man, because I know that our agents, and I'm very, very guilty of not doing this, but man, I think we need a good refresher. And maybe we do this next week, the short-term home health care.
Sure. Yeah. Get with Dimitri. I might be able to cover for him again because I know he's on vacation, you just get with me directly because he is on vacation. No need to bug him. So
okay,
we can work that out. Yeah.
Let's see if we can hook up next week for that, man.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. My pleasure. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.